Hello and welcome back to Discovery Bay. In today's video we are going to be adding custom cross ties to the entire layout of my Gerstlauer Bobsled coaster, which is called Hacienda del Hacho, and it is of course going to have a rustic Spanish farmhouse theme, but unfortunately we haven't got onto theming it at all yet. You can see that there are some buildings on the floor which we added in the last episode, and they aren't, they're just temporary. That's just so I can roughly see, plan out where the area is going to go. Hopefully next episode I will start theming. Obviously the custom supports aren't done at the end of this video either, but we do go around the entire layout with cross ties, as you can see me doing here. So there's over 200 of these which I added one by one to the track. It took a long time, about a minute for each one, so if you do the maths, that's, it's quite a lot of minutes. But each of these is just made of two simple beam pieces. The reason why I've used a second one is just so that it stretches far enough to join onto the other bit of track. Now you can see that here there is actually a tri-track, and this is the only bit of the entire layout I've done this for, but there are some of the new gen Gerstlauer Bobsleds which do use this. For example, Rattenmüller at Family Park Neusiedlersee and Tiki Wacker at Wallaby Belgium, that's another example. I didn't do this for the entire layout. I probably should have done it for more, but honestly I forgot to carry on with the track building, and once you've smoothed it, it's kind of hard to get it to line up again. So I didn't think it was a massive deal, so I basically just left it like that, and it is only on this drop because that's going to be the most intense part of the ride, based on positive G-force. But talking specifically about the custom cross ties, you can see the diagonal ones here. These are going to be on the vast majority of the layout, and specifically these are at parts where there are high lateral Gs, and that's just to give the track more lateral integrity, a bit more strength, so that I guess it's for maintenance, because if the track, the track would wear away quicker if it wasn't as strong, and the triangular shape which is created between them just gives it that bit more strength. I guess that's the physics behind it, but I'm not an expert, so I'm not going to go into too much detail about that. But you can see here that there is a little straight section which joins two of the switchbacks together, and because there's going to be no lateral G-force on there whatsoever, there's no need to have these cross ties. And there are of course some bunny hills towards the end of the layout which I will get onto, and I won't be building cross ties on them because they just don't need them. But basically these are of course on the Gerstlauer Bobsled model in real life, and I thought it would be realistic to have them, and there's no coaster type at all in the game that does this, so it's going to look really different. And maybe, obviously you're going to know it's Planet Coaster, but because there's nothing else in Planet Coaster like this, like these kind of cross ties, it's going to look like a unique coaster type, so that's what I'm really looking forward to doing. Honestly, on the POVs it's not really that effective, because you're so close to the track with the camera that they move so fast, so you don't really notice them as much. But off-ride, I think it makes a massive difference and makes this look a lot more like a Gerstlauer Bobsled. So that's basically my reasoning behind building these. And in terms of the actual building of them, it looks, it doesn't look the most enjoyable thing to do, but honestly it wasn't actually that bad, because it's a really easy process. You have to duplicate the exact same thing, rotate it a few times and move it so it gets into the right position. But to be honest, it wasn't really annoying very much. There's only a few bits where the rotation tools were getting a little bit frustrating, but for the most part it was just a really simple progress. And I would just sit doing this all afternoon. I did actually do this over a few days, so it wasn't one entire afternoon. I think it was 3, maybe 4 days I spent doing this. Obviously not the entire day each one, but I'll just listen to music, so I was just relaxing and almost going onto autopilot and letting my brain do the work. Whilst, I was basically sleeping whilst doing this. And that's pretty much all I've got to say about these cross ties, so you will just watch them in the background whilst I talk to you about something which I think is quite important. and I want to update you on the other 2 series on my channel because I am having some issues with them both, and I really think I need to discuss them with you. First of all, we're going to talk about Expedition GeForce, which is the recreation that I was doing, and that was going quite well, and you know, it was my last video that I made, and I'm so happy with how that video turned out. The progress we made in that video is amazing. I really think it's starting to look good, but the thing is, I've lost everything I did in that video, so I'm not really sure why it is, but it's something to do with Steam not backing up the save files to the right. I don't even know, but it's just so frustrating. Right, I'm going to try to explain what happened, but I think I'm going to struggle because personally I don't really know what's the problem myself. But I did definitely save the park. You know, last time I did actually lose a lot of work, you might be aware if you followed the series earlier, and that was, you know, that was my fault, that was my mistake. But this time I'd saved it, and so it started when I went on my computer, clicked on Planet Coaster, and then it came up with a message saying it failed to initialize Steam API or something like that. So I'm like, alright, no problem. This happens all the time. So I went on Steam itself and clicked play on Planet Coaster, and then it said I needed to, it said the files conflicted, and I needed to choose where to store them, whether it was the cloud or to my computer. And normally the dates are different, and I just clicked the most recent date, but this time the dates were the same for each file, for the computer and the cloud. And I didn't really think too much of it. I just clicked on one, and then I realized that it had saved the most recent file from halfway through January. So that's when the most recent one was, and yeah, basically everything I did last episode's gone, and I don't know why this has happened, but it's just really demotivated me. And at the moment, for now, I'm going to put Expedition GeForce on hold. I'm sorry to say that, but unless I suddenly get motivation to do it again, because, this is twice now that it's happened, I really just want to, build new things. I don't want to have to keep retracking my progress, so I'm sorry to be doing this, but, it might come back one day when I suddenly feel motivated to, but I just apologise, there's not really much more I can say. And yeah, with that said, now on to Lilienberg, and I've not really been doing much on this park at all. You will know that we finished the first coaster with all the theming. There was a cinematic for that. I'm really happy with how that turned out, but now, honestly, I'm lacking inspiration, and I don't really know where to go next with the park. Because I last worked on the file so long ago, I've not lost anything. So basically I would have lost a lot of work with Lilienberg as well, like to do with the same Expedition GeForce issue, but because it was back in December where I last touched the park, it's, I've not lost anything, fortunately. But yeah, I really do need your help in that series to give me suggestions on what to build, because I'm not really too sure what to build. But yeah, I just felt like I needed to address both of those parks, because at the moment I feel really excited with this Discovery Bay project. I really feel motivated seeing everyone else in the collaboration park, seeing everyone else's areas. It really motivates me to make my own, and that's why I've been feeling a lot better about building on this park. Even though I've been basically doing 5 hours of cross ties, I still feel motivated to do this more than anything else, which is strange, but yeah, it is what it is. So yeah, that's really all I've got to say. I'm going to leave you with some music now, and I will be back in this voiceover, don't worry, I'm not leaving for good, but because, we're just building cross ties, and I've already said everything I want to say, there's nothing to say, so if you don't want to just watch the time-lapse in silence, because I'm not going to be talking through some of it, you can skip to a timestamp which I will add, because we are actually going to be doing a few custom supports at the end of this video, and I do want to give a voiceover on them. So if you skip to the timestamp, it should appear at the bottom, so I don't think I'll need to put it on the screen. You skip forward to then, and then I'll be back. And yeah, I guess thank you for getting up to this point of the video, and I'll see you soon. So welcome back to the voiceover. We are now going to be doing some custom supports on the switchback section, which is what we were doing custom cross ties on near the start of this video. And the interesting thing about these supports is that they have a single pillar in the middle, like in the center point of the circle. If you imagine each turn is a rough semicircle, you know, it's the center point of that, and then they have these arms which all rotate to meet the track around it, as you can see here. And I looked at G'sengte Sau at Tripsdrill for inspiration to see how this looks, and there are a few more details, but I didn't really think it was worth adding them in because I know that some other members as well as me, when I had everything else loaded in the park, we are kind of struggling a little bit because it is a big part of the summy pieces. So I was thinking a little bit about piece count, and I didn't think that I needed to go into the tiny details with making all of the bolts and the different things look right on this support. And obviously I can't really say much after I've been doing cross ties around the whole layout, but I felt that the cross ties would mean a lot more than doing small details on these supports, because I think when all the themings around the supports won't really stand out much, so I don't think a lack of detail will be a problem here. But yeah, after building one support, there's no need to make the second one from scratch, so here we will duplicate it across. And I did have to, of course, you know, adjust the heights to make sure it meets, because this turn is going in an opposite direction. The other interesting thing about this support is that it goes directly over another bit of track, so I had to improvise a little bit. It looks a little bit odd, as you may be able to see, because there's track going underneath it, but that's about the best I could do. Anyway, that's all from me. I'm going to leave you with some cinematics, and I've put a lot more effort into these cinematics than normal, because I know that most of this video was just, you know, not even a voiceover. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.
It's a trail ride.